finance. We received the 2019 final audit. Everybody has a copy of the summary. And we had an excess deficit or revenue of $308,392 from last year. But there was some grant money that was in there left over from cars that have taken place this year. They posted this and they did a legal ad in the newspaper as well. And they also came up with some recommendations that they do every year. They can come in and talk to us, but during this pandemic, and they're not able to come to any locations. So maybe another meeting they'll attend one of our work sessions and go into detail if council would choose to discuss everything with them. Have any questions?
The changes that were made, most of those changes have been done, taken care of, except for the ones that keep repeating themselves.
It's the segregation of duties, which is kind of impossible because we're so short-staffed, and they did state that in here. There were just some things that they just suggested. Computer, cybersecurity. We're worried like we should have training on that. We are up to par with everything on the computer, the firewall, and everything we need. So they were happy about that. But there's just some segregation of duties is the main thing, and then bank reconciliation, having a fraud policy, the credit card machine, same thing every year. Yep. It's just basically just to prevent any fraud. Okay, we're going to move on to code enforcement. At 647 Fifth Street, where there was a home that had extensive fire damage, multiple letters have been sent to the owner, and I think Kenny might have talked to Steve about this as well. The borough is going to have to go into the same thing as we discussed upstairs, and have to tear this section down of the home. It had extensive damage, and there's been nothing done, and it actually switched owners recently, maybe a couple months ago, maybe a year ago. They sold the property as is. So the new owners have been contacted from Kenny. They did send a letter, no response. And Steve, I have that address as well, with that information of that, this folder. He actually sent a letter in December.
Where did the letter go?
I'm sorry.
To who?
To the new owner that now owns it. He had just said to them that the property is still not been torn down due to the damage, and he said, please contact us within 14 days.
Never contacted.
They never responded.
Where did the letter go to?
It was about a quarter acre, and it was in Donora, PA.
Where?
Donora, PA. Never heard of it. Yeah. And then the previous code enforcement officer as well, she has sent them a letter with problems with it as well, so he has an extensive history. There's never a citation, but absolutely. I'll give Steve everything, and then we can proceed from there. In your packet, Michael Foreman had sent me information about a blight remediation program from DCED. It's funding to help with the blight. I've tried to send some emails, but they're apparently working remotely. I haven't got much response, and there's just been a couple questions about how much funding is available and will it take care of, the really bad places that we need to have taken care of. So as soon as I hear back and get some more information, but I gave everybody a packet to look over and see if it's something that we want to pursue. So. And there is a fee for the application that I was told.
10% match too.
And there's a 10% match, correct? Yes, there is a match. Any DCD money only there is.
Okay.
Yep. I think the application application fee was $100, if I'm not mistaken.
So, yeah,
$100, yes,
non-refundable.
yes. Yep.
And when's the deadline for the application?
It just opened up June 1st.
Okay.
And this is what I'm waiting to get more information on. He had sent an email out, and I told him that I would check with council to see if they wanted to pursue what we needed to do, and then maybe we can select the worst homes that we discussed upstairs, and maybe something, we can get funding to help get these torn down.
You think maybe we ought to have him here for the July meeting?
I can ask.
Mike Foreman?
Yes.
I mean, we're going green
Green.
here very shortly. I don't know why we can't have him here for the
Yeah, I
July
know he's
meeting.
been restricted on travel.
Yeah.
He's been restricted from travel.
But perhaps maybe in July he will not be.
Right.
Maybe.
Reach out to
I'll send him an email. Sure. Yes.
It'd be nice to have him here for a work session so we can ask directly, rather than giving second, third, fourth hand information.
Sure. Yeah, because I know it said on that green phase that telework is suggested, so a lot of like our auditors and that, they couldn't come because they're not allowed to travel. So but I'll find out and I'll let everybody know for the next meeting.
So if he can get us a grant for $200,000 to tear down
I
a,
think it's up to 300,000, I think we can
well,
get.
I'm saying, you know,
Yep.
so I'm sure we can come up with $2,000 or $3,000 to tear down 4 or 5 of these black buildings.
I'll send him an email tomorrow and then I'll just send everybody an email to let them know. Anybody else have any questions about that? We have been getting a couple complaints, and a lot of people actually been inquiring about getting an outdoor fire pit. And currently the borough has a very old ordinance that no open burn. And Kenny and Patsy got together, and they were going to try to come up with something to permit the outdoor fire pits in the yards. I mean, considering where we're at with not everybody allowed to go anywhere, and they were just going to go and come up with an ordinance. Patsy and I believe Kenny and possibly Mike were gonna go and inspect the area that these residents would like to put a fireplace or an outdoor fire pit. And they were going to a certain distance, they had to be like 25 feet away from the structure, and then they were going to possibly charge them for a permit that it's okay and that it was inspected to have, and come up with a fee. And then if there is a violation, if the police get called or they get a fire call with anything of a danger, you get your permit revoked and you have to remove the fire pit.
This would be after the ordinances.
Once, this is something that's in discussion as of right now, and I was just going to see if council, how they felt about it.
Let me ask you something. As I talk to Patsy Vince, he tells me that the way the ordinance reads, you throw charcoal fluid over top of the charcoal and light a match, you're in violation of our ordinance. That's an open fire. You mean, I mean, we're thinking about
What
enforcing
the
something like
ordinance,
that?
I don't have a copy of the ordinance in front of me, but I
It says
read
no burn.
it says barbecue pit.
Yes.
So, like, I think if you put charcoal down and lit on fire and you put a hot dog over it, you may be compliant. But the ordinance,
You're cooking food, you're allowed.
yeah, this is from 1958.
So if I got an open fire pit in the backyard that you're referring to and I want to roast marshmallows, it's okay then?
You're cooking food.
Yep. It says outdoor fires shall be permitted upon private property for the use of barbecue pits, stoves, or ovens, providing that charcoal only is burned there. And it says you can't burn any materials, substances, papers, boxes, rubbish, leaves, building materials of any kind.
About the people that we have that use cherry wood for barbecue?
Well, I think that would, this ordinance would say no, it should say charcoal, but that's obviously a barbecue product. That's why this whole thing needs to be redone.
Point made.
So, I mean, there's a lot of, this is just an outdated ordinance.
It's something council would consider allowing residents to have if, you know, as long as it's
It's
safe.
being investigated.
Well, yeah, it's gonna be
and
inspected and
there is
there's
no chance
requirements.
of any brush or trees or anything catching fire by it. I don't see anything wrong with it.
This fee, this inspection fee, would it be at one time?
Right.
Yes, yes, yes.
Now, what if I had mine inspected and something happened? The fire department
revoked. If you have to remove the fire pit and your permit's revoked, you're not allowed to have it.
Do we have any idea how many fire pits we have in Donora?
No clue. A bunch.
I know at least half a dozen.
Yes, yes, we have a bunch. And a lot of people have been calling that have recently moved into town, and they weren't aware that we had a new burning ordinance. And they had gotten a call because they had flames shooting up in the air, and, you know, some people, neighbors called, they were concerned, because it was close to their home. In a lot of places, you aren't fight spaces. So this is where Patsy and Kenny come up with trying to at least create some kind of safe way of doing it, and then having control of who has it. There'll be a little time involved. That's why we figure if we charge a little minor fee, then that way the permit will be issued and it takes care of their time. And then I think I actually printed another county has this in place already, and you actually have to have a fire extinguisher or guard hose close by if it would get out of control. So there's some kind of guidelines that I'd like to follow for what they already have in place. So, give everything to Steve, and we can work on that, and get with Kenny and Patsy as well. And we can follow up next month on it. Sound like a plan? Okay. Kenny had provided me some lots that two residents would like to purchase. There are two different areas. One's on Fayette Avenue, the Borough owns it, and there's another one right near off of 6th Street that the Borough owns. Two different residents would like to purchase them to maintain them, and I told him, please sell them. I said no. So Kenny, he said that, you know, he just wanted us to present it to council and then go forth with getting the paperwork. They'd have to get the property assessed, and we have to go through the procedure through the courts or the county. So if everybody's on board with that, I'd like to pursue that soon. So,
One property on Fayette, is that the one with it?
yes, they're both wooded lots, yes. They're both, this is the one, and then this gentleman bought this property here to put that house, and he wants to buy this. He's gonna maintain it, and then he'll put it back on the tax records. Yeah. And the other property is off of 6th Street, and it's like in between two different lots. That the gentleman that bought the house next door wants to buy it to maintain it. Steve, those are the copies of that, so we can start the procedure with that.
You have their information.
Kenny has the names written down there, but Kenny has more information of their contacts. Yep, Kenny wrote everything on there for you. So we'll go through the process and start to get that done. Okay, on to recreation. We are looking to fill Parks and Recreation Board. We have a vacancy on there, and we want to take letters of interest. We'll announce that at the next meeting.
While we're on that, do we have a point as opposed to asking just openly? I mean, do we appoint a few people that are interested in the youth?
That's a good question.
Well, I know a few coaches that coach youth in baseball and minor football. I think that they would take a big interest in.
If they would send letters of interest, and then we can
I'll
look
get
at them
them to
and
send
review them all.
letters of interest.
Yeah, with the next meeting, we'll discuss it, and then we can appoint somebody. That's fine.
Another thing I'd like to ask is, what would be wrong with the First Street Old Junior High School, First and Castner and First and Howard, put in a couple of basketball courts for the youth to play basketball on?
We were shot down because of Chubb's barbing right down there. They actually looked into a couple years ago of putting playground equipment and things for kids' activities were not allowed to do because of the bar.
I'm only speaking of basketball courts, 2 basketball courts. Is it in writing somewhere where we cannot do that?
I will look into it. I know a few years ago, because that's, a couple people have inquired about that property.
I can see if
I
it's
think
supposed to.
Cindy looked into that before.
Remember they weren't gonna put a playground?
They wanted to put playground
Yes.
equipment, and we weren't allowed because, one, the property is contaminated, okay, because the school is in the ground. So once you start messing, you're running into a whole bunch of problems, and that's why we were never able to sell it.
Can we at least, on Allen Avenue side, between First Street and Bradford Way, put 2 basketball courts there, which is a quarter of a mile away from Chumps, which is a bar.
I don't know where that property, I'm not, off the top of my head, I don't know which property you're talking about.
Would you like to look into
What
that,
is
so we
the
can
address
put up
again,
something on Allen Avenue side,
Uh-huh.
between First Street and Bradford. You only have to go,
Go
what,
by Dell's house.
yes, you only have to go maybe 25 feet for a basketball court,
That
give the
might-
kids something to do.
That might work too, because that's a slab on.
And not only that, but the school wasn't on that part, the school was out towards the center.
I'll look into it, absolutely, I'll look into it. I know there was a gentleman inquiring about the property to purchase and put townhouses there, but I don't know, I have to look into that.
I can
Inquiring about
understand that if the school's under, like Cindy says,
Yes.
I can understand that, but to put a basketball court there with 2 hoops so kids can play and have some
Well, I
fun.
know they practice football there, I know I've seen a bunch of
Yeah,
kids
they're
playing
practicing
there.
out in all the dog
Yes.
poop, which has been complaining about as well. I can understand. I'm not talking about that, I'm talking about right there, at
Towards the
the
other
very corner there. There's enough room there to put 2 nice basketball courts.
I'll get the pricing for it, and then I'll check to make sure it's okay, and I'll let everybody know next meeting.
And I see about Narcotics Anonymous using Pavilion 1 for their weekend meetings. What is that on that?
They have been doing this for several years, and since I'm new into this, they said they had a contract or some type of agreement years ago. They go to, in the wintertime and the fall, they go to the church on Second and Kastner, and they use the basement for their meetings. When it's nice out, they go to the park, and they meet on Tuesdays. And there was, apparently they were there 2 weeks ago, and they got a complaint that there were a lot of people in a pavilion, so the police got called, and they were asked to leave because we were in our restrictions, and they had a lot of people there, so they were asked to leave, and she said, well, we're already in contract, or we have some type of arrangements with the borough, we make a donation, and she finally called me the other day, and she just wants council's permission, if it's okay, every Tuesday they meet, it's less than 20 people.
Do they pay for the pavilion?
They do not, but she says they will make a donation. She says they only meet on Tuesdays just for a few hours. She said, we put money in like a basket every meeting, and everybody kind of just donates $1, and then she says, we'll give a donation to the borough.
I have no problem with that. However, keep in mind, everybody here said that anybody uses any of our facilities, we will no longer give it away for free, we're going to charge.
Right.
Mary Ann Bandelo, who runs a youth and teen center over there, asked for permission for the Girl Scouts or whatever it is.
Camp, for weekly
And,
camp.
and we absolutely told her no, and she's in Donora, she takes care of our youth, and we told her no.
Well, these people live in Donora, she
Well,
said.
I'm just
But
saying, keep in
she
mind,
said
we're
that
gonna have to be
they're a half an
consistent.
hour, 40 minutes at the most. They just meet, have their meeting, and leave.
There's never been any incidents with them, any excessive
Never.
trash,
Never.
cigarette butts, anything
No.
like that?
No,
They
sometimes,
they have a contract with the election office up in Washington to use the Baptist church. And even on the nights that we have an election there, and they use the upstairs of the church, they've never had a problem with them, and I've talked to several people. It's actually Alcoholics Anonymous is what the organization is called.
she read the letters on
Yeah,
Alcoholics.
the papers that I
Oh,
have from
okay.
Washington
Oh.
County
Okay.
actually
And
call it
again, I
Alcoholics
don't have a problem
Anonymous.
with it. My only concern is, we need to be consistent in what we do. We can't tell people, no, you gotta pay, and tell people, yes, you can have it for free. I just, to me, that's being very
Well,
inconsistent.
they
We gotta do
did
one
offer
thing
to
one
make
way
a
or the other.
donation.
I'm sorry?
They did offer to make a donation, so
So Mary Ann offered to make a donation too. It was
I
only
didn't know
$200.
that Mary
Yes,
Ann
she
offered
did.
to make a donation.
Yes, she did. It was written in the pamphlet that Terry gave us. She offered to pay for it.
She had a discount rate.
It was like maybe,
Yeah,
it was like maybe for
Right.
$250 or $350.
Right, at a discount rate. They're just saying they'll make a
Yeah,
donation.
she went for a
2
whole week.
weekends?
Yeah,
She
she
wanted the whole park for the 2
Right.
weekends.
I don't disagree. In fact, at that time I said, let's give her a higher rate than what she
Yeah,
offered. I don't
you're
disagree.
talking about
I'm just saying, let's be
you're talking
consistent.
about renting
All
a
day.
park instead of having a pavilion for a half hour, 45 minutes. There's a big difference between that.
Just so we keep it in mind for the next time somebody wants it.
Is council okay with this, or should we tell her otherwise? Or, I mean, do we see if there's a flat fee that we should charge her for them? Because she said it's only between Memorial Day and Labor Day that they'll use the park. And then they'll return back to the church for the remainder of that
The
time.
only one they're using, correct?
It's only Pavilion 1.
And there's never been any incidents.
Never, No, never in the church.
There's never been any
They clean
incident
up
at
after
church.
They don't even have food, they don't do anything, they just
They don't
speak.
talk, yeah.
The pavilion one's not rented on any of those Tuesdays.
No.
Is it AA or NA?
A,
She has here Narcotics
yes,
Anonymous,
but it's actually
AA.
Or is it like a mixture?
Possibly.
Okay.
Mhm.
I don't know, I'm just saying, again, the consistency, that's
I
all.
mean, they're not fundraising, or they're not raising money for anything. I mean,
They
this is
just
kind
talk,
of,
they just have their meetings and they talk,
yeah.
very quietly too, you don't even know they're there.
They kind of want to be private, that's why they wanted to go to that one, so they're not out in the middle of town, you know, where people see who's there, so.
Well, what pavilion is it, pavilion,
Two's up in the woods.
the one up in the woods, it's very secluded, it's never been rented. What if we would offer them
Two
that?
gets rented.
Three.
The three's
Three.
only, there's not enough, there's only one table. There's not enough for their amount of people, there's enough maybe
I was
for a
gonna say,
family
if you're
of
looking
five.
for seclusion and keeping
Yeah.
out of the way, that
Well,
would be
is
the one.
there any way that we could maybe move a couple more tables up there?
There's
Some
no
of
room,
them-
it's so tiny up there, yeah.
If they only got 20 people, what's the difference how tiny it is? It's big enough for 50 people.
I don't even think you can fit two tables in there, I think there's only one
Yeah,
table
that
now.
pavilion right below,
Three.
what's his name's house, right below
It's when
Mason's.
you're going up the hill.
Yeah, on the
Yeah,
right-hand
pavilion
side,
three.
going up.
So above the walking trail.
If it saved one person from ODing in this town,
Yeah.
it'd be well
Right.
worth it. Let them
Absolutely.
have
Good
it.
point.
Absolutely.
Good point.
You know, it seems like it's a good,
Good point. Very
good thing to have.
I mean, if they had caused trouble, especially during the election night we're there, if they had caused trouble, I'd say I'd think twice about it, but they are so quiet up there, that half the time, we don't even know they're up
And
there,
they pick
until
the
they
beer
come down
cans
to the
up too,
coffee
huh?
pot.
They pick their beer cans up too, don't they?
All right,
Never
let's-
seen any of that, though.
Okay. Martinak Consulting, they're working on the feasibility study for the rails to trails. He had sent an invoice, he just sent it to me today, I just added this on today. We'll vote on it next week, that does come out of the grant money that we have for that. He said they're kind of behind. Norfolk Southern is delaying them on the access, and I guess they need some kind of permit to do the study on the railroad. So he said that's kind of holding him back a little bit. So I'll put that on there to make a motion to approve that bill next week. Have anything for the building? I was looking at all of our committees, and Fred Verstecki, I spoke with him. He said that his term was up, and he'd like to renew it for his 5-year term on the Mid-Mon Valley Transit Authority. He has been following up with me every time there's a meeting. He has been communicating, sending updates. They're actually going to be reopening tomorrow and back to regular routes and with more people, and they're starting to charge again. And actually, I shared it onto our Facebook page to let all the residents know. So they'll be running normal tomorrow. Those are going green. I have some information in your packets. They're taking precautions with the sanitary part of it, with the buses and social distancing and the requirements that we are dealing with right now. So I'll put that on next week to reappoint him, and his term would be good through December of 2024. And next is public safety. Steve had drawn up the ordinance repealing ordinance 1181. Everybody has a copy of it in their packet. Basically, it just says that repealed, 1181 is repealed, and all other ordinances or sections thereof and motions and resolutions of council inconsistent with this ordinance are hereby repealed. And I'll have that to have a motion, and it has been advertised. It was in the paper yesterday.
Jerry, I do have a question. Have we heard anything on the possibility of getting grant money to codify the ordinances so we can know everything that's still
I
not
actually
there?
was looking on the grant site that I have access to, and they actually sent an email to stop some of the things with the grants right now. Is there something wrong with the system? So there's a lot, but everybody's on hold right now because everybody's working remotely. So I haven't seen anything specifically, but if PSAB actually is very informative with all the grants that are out there, and I check it frequently.
Okay, thank
So,
you.
yes.
You know, on that note there, years ago, a few years back, a former councilman had taken all the ordinances to be put on,
Flash drive, that's what I
did
use.
they ever show?
I have it,
Oh,
I
you
use it all the
did?
time.
Oh.
Yep,
It's really our best way to search.
yes, yeah,
Terry's got really good at doing the key searches on there.
yeah.
Was that all the ordinances or just?
Yeah.
Not all of them, I mean, they took from, I think it's 1950s and up, like the 1901 and that, there's actually books that we have in the office. The paper's so brittle, I would be afraid to put them through a machine to scan them. So we actually have them in the books, and this is where I actually found the fire one, the open fire, after doing some search, so.
The problem is that they're not really searchable, they're not annotated, so you can't link one to the other. You know, so if you have an ordinance, a subsequent ordinance repealing a prior, it's hard to find, or it's hard to find the successive ordinance too, so.
The goal would be to have them
Point is
organized
well
by
taken.
subject online, so any resident or anybody who wants to have a business can go on and search by subject and know what the law is, so there's no confusion.
Okay, on to the next item. I received a donation from an anonymous donor. The gentleman sent gift certificates for food. He had sent in for the fire department and for the police department, which I did present to Jimmy, and I also gave him to Patsy. And I sent him a thank you letter as well, and the fire department was sending him their own, so very generous.
And how was that donation handled?
It had gone to Mayor McDonough, and Mayor McDonough went and got gift cards to all the restaurants and businesses here in town.
Mr. Greco, in the January meeting, brought up to have the police department have its own donation checking account.
I did ask for that, and I was told that that is already in the process.
You know, we have an account, we have a donation
We
account.
do have one?
We have, yeah, the police have our own account.
Why wasn't that sent to the police?
Well, that gentleman had contacted me and said that he specifically wanted food certificates for, and he wanted them from the ones in town. And he initially said he just wanted the one business, and I said, why don't we open it to all of them? So I even extended it. Once all that was done, I said, I called the other businesses that were delivering at the time, like Chubb's, Crow, Anna, the old Andres, and asked them if they would want to do something extra too, just to make sure everyone had a chance. But he wanted specifically gift certificates, and he said, I just wanted them to have a place to eat in town. That's it.
Don't you think I should have went to either that account or at least be turned over to the borough secretary for her to?
I believe this was just a private citizen. He even said, I don't want anyone to know about this. I just want you to give them these gift cards from these businesses. That was it. It wasn't like he said, I have money and you do with it what you will. He told me specifically what he wanted. I sent him pictures of everything we did. He said, that's how I want it taken care of.
In other words, it wasn't a cash donation because we deposited into a checking account. It was gift certificates to different food places within the community.
Yeah. He
As
said,
I
I want a
understand it.
But he
certificate for
submitted
this,
cash.
and this, and this, and this.
It was a cash donation. Then
He submitted cash or a check?
I
And
don't
it
know.
was, he
He gave you a check?
He went through the Historical Society, Mark, and Mark came up and said, would you do this? Because he can't come up and get the gift certificate. And I talked to him on the phone and said, I would do anything you want.
What businesses, I mean, I don't know, did you take into consideration all the businesses in Donora?
Yeah, I told him what all, he asked me what food businesses there were. I told him there was the Duke's, the Early Bird. Well, actually, the person to recall, he said he just wanted to get it for mine. That's why he was calling me. I said, no, there's Anthony's, Duke's, Marty's. I said, right now there's 2 other places that are delivering. I said, but you know, who do you want it from? What do you want? And I'll do whatever you want for you. But it was more on a personal level. He didn't call me because I was the mayor. He just asked me because I had a business and he wanted to buy gift cards from just me. And I said, you should get it from everybody. So whatever it was, he said, I just want to go this way and I don't want, You know, I didn't want to know, anyone to know who I am, I just wanted to die. We talked for, I don't know, he talked to me for a while. So we bought the gift cards, and whenever all that was gone, I just went and called all the others, and we were going to buy them extra. Have it done. A few people didn't want to participate. Is that what you were asking? Like, it was a gentleman who called me from my business and asked to buy it all from my business. And I asked him not to just do that. If he would kind of buy from everybody. And I would do the legwork of trying to find out who would do it.
But that account that Joe brought up is in effect though?
Yeah.
Yeah, if he would have called like me as the mayor, like I said, this went through, I think initially Mark, I'm pretty sure his name is Mark, was originally going to do it. Then he came to talk to me because he wanted to buy them just for me. And I said, have this gentleman call, because, you know, it doesn't have to be just for me. It can be for you know, if they want a pizza at night or anything, they're not going to get it from me.
I think the problem is you are the mayor. You know, I mean, it's not a problem, but you are a mayor, you are the mayor, and you are a business owner. As a business owner, you are the mayor.
Yes.
So you have to be careful at some of the things that people lead you into doing. Now, I'm sure the guy had very good intentions as far as donating it, but I don't think you as mayor, which you are, should have distributed it. I think even if your wife done it, you know, but you are the mayor, she's not the mayor. Even if your wife would have done it.
My wife did do it.
Okay.
But having said that, Mr. Solicitor, me as a business owner, if someone contacts me to have any type of business within my business, does that affect the mayor? Even if, like, my wife wants to donate something, is that from the mayor?
I mean, your wife's practices.
Yeah, she's a problem.
You know, she's welcome to do
Whatever she wants.
Yeah, my wife doesn't want to handle all this, but I mean, I'm just
Okay,
saying, it
well,
was originally
well,
contacted
the
through my business.
Okay, well, the point that you came across was he contacted you.
Actually, Mark came up and asked me
Okay,
to do
well,
it.
that's good, but I say, in hindsight, watch those things, you know, it's not, let's say it this way, it doesn't,
As I
it could be
understand it, though,
misconstrued.
As I understand it, he didn't contact him as mayor, would you do this? He contacted him, I want to buy gift.
He's still the mayor, it doesn't make a difference,
He
Joe,
went
he's
to
still
his
the mayor.
business.
Yeah, hold on.
If
Don't
you were-
let it get me, I understand what you're
You know
saying.
what I'm saying?
And
If you were a policeman and I came to you and told you that I had just committed a crime, but you were my friend, what would you be? You're still a policeman.
You're gonna arrest him.
Exactly, he's the mayor. That's
And
what
that's-
I'm saying.
And exactly what you said is exactly what my,
There's no problem.
yeah, no, but I want to make it clear. That's why my wife even said she wanted to take care of that stuff. And
Yes.
that's why I believe
That's
Terry,
why she
my
should.
wife, brought it all down to you, correct?
Yes.
Okay, that's why she should have.
Yeah, and I'll just openly say from now on, if there's any more donations or anything that's meant to go anywhere, you can take them through the administrator. Or if anyone comes to me, I'll gladly send them directly to the administrator.
Okay.
The next item is we are seeking interested candidates to serve on the Police Civil Service Commission. We have a vacancy on there. Mr. Lawson was on there and Julie is on council. We have an open spot, so we're going to take letters. I will
I'd like to make
advertise.
a comment on that, please.
Sure.
I would too.
For the last 3 weeks, I've discussed this with Mr. Lawson, with Mr. McDowell, with the solicitor, with the mayor, with Mr. Parquet. The way this has been run in the last 20 years, since a couple of doctors resigned from the board, we've been picking friends of the local politicians. We need to extend this to well-educated people to know what civil service is all about. I mean, it's nice to have friends on there that are part of the community, but what we should do, in all honesty, is extend a letter to maybe the Ringgold School Board, Charleroi School Board, Menneson School Board, and get well-educated people that knows what civil service is all about.
I can address it. Can I
May I continue, though,
Sure.
please?
Okay.
Please? For years now, We've been putting people on there that have no idea what the civil service is. And I mean, I don't mean no disrespect, but I'm sure Sonny, who was on there, has no idea what Act 35 is, Act 47, Act 600. And this is just wrong. We need not only a civil service board that's intelligent enough to know what civil service is, but to also be an oversight as to what's happening within the police department. And I've been bringing this up now for the last 3 weeks, maybe 4, and it hasn't gone anywhere. I agree that we need a civil service commission. There's a lot of things we need. We need a manual, policy manual here. When do you pursue? When do you use the right of force? We don't have none of this in play in here. We're going to end up like another East McKeesport. We better put some policies in writing here. We had a nice policy years ago and understood that it's now thrown off the wayside. We better start doing something, or we're going to end up with an East McKeesport here in Donora. Trust me when I tell you that. Now, Solicitor, I'm guilty and I apologize. But
I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm not sure the exact way, and this is what I requested a copy of the ordinance from Terry. I'm not exactly sure how our boards can comprise. So whenever you put together a civil service commission, there's like a 2-step rules that govern it, just like anything else in the borough. You have the state borough code, then you have our local ordinance. Sonny is not, State Councilman Lawson is not barred from serving on Civil Service Commission. I know, but there's some misconceptions, and they're not yours. I'm just saying that I wanted to sort of let council know what they can do and what you can't do. So the only time, the way the borough code reads is that you have to have 3 members, plus you can have alternates. The members have to be qualified electors, meaning registered voters who live in the district, the borough. And one could be a teacher, and one could be a council member.
And you say that's written somewhere?
That's written in the state borough code. So Mr. Lawson can serve, or any council member can serve in that seat that can be designated for a council member. Where the code gets quirky is it says if you appoint alternates, a disqualifying office would be a council member for an alternate seat. So you can't put a council member in the alternate seat. So that's what we have to try to figure out is, I don't know how the commission was put together. I remember Dr. Lodge talking about serving on the Civil Service Commission when I was a student of his.
He wasn't doing what politicians wanted, he was doing what was right.
Well, I'm saying, I remember him talking about 25 years ago when I sat in his classroom. So I'm not sure how it's organized at this point. So I think what we need to do is look and see what terms are when. They're 6-year terms. Do we want to have alternates? Do we currently have alternates? I'm not certain that we do. So I would like to see council properly fill the commission at one time. Put the right qualified people in. And I agree with you.
Unbiased people, though. You can't have people within the community who's going to cater to one of our whims. I mean, you're going back to the yaya days of politicians here. You need educated people that understand the civil service workings, and it can also be an oversight in case you do get complaints about the police. Let them handle it instead of us handling it. But you want unbiased people in there. That's just my opinion.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't the civil service come back to council to
Yes,
handle any and all complaints that are made? Then why would you tell me that they would handle it and take it away from us?
You're not taking it away from you. They handle the investigations and turn
Right.
over their
Right.
recommendations to you.
Right.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
We're the
Well,
final,
that's-
we're
yes,
the
that's the way
final
it's-
decision.
That you're the final decision. I don't
It's an
dispute that.
advisory board, just like any of our other advisory boards.
I agree. However, those that have been appointed in the past from Dr. Lonich and Dr. Stacy to this day have no idea what the civil service is all about. That's all I'm saying. We need to get good, qualified, educated people there, not our friends. We need unbiased people there. That's all I'm telling you.
What makes you think that somebody off the school board has anything more knowledge than Dr. Stacy or Dr. Lonich, or anybody that has served on this
They
board?
were very knowledgeable.
Mr. Lawson
They
here.
were very, very knowledgeable. I'm not just.
Who? What school board?
Doctor, I didn't say
You've been
school
reading the
board.
papers? I don't see any of these school boards being in any kind of great shape.
I did not say school board. You must have
You said
misunderstood.
school board.
School teachers. Send a letter to the school teachers.
said
Get
school
educated.
board.
We're No,
off the
I
school.
apologize, I
Okay.
said school teachers, I meant to say school teachers,
Okay.
and it should be school teachers, or educated people, that's my point. And again, not to embarrass him, Mr. Lawson, do you know what Act 600 is?
No,
You know what Act 47 is?
no,
You know, 35.
no,
So now why do we
But you
appoint
can-
people
but
that
you
don't
can
know
learn,
what's going on?
can't you?
yes.
All right, I'm not going to say this, but when I was put on the zoning board, I knew absolutely nothing about the zoning regulation and rules here in Donora. I learned. I was smart enough to learn. And anybody that wants to make the time up to serve on a board should be allowed to serve on a board as long as they're willing to learn what these different acts are. Nobody knows what these acts are, Joe, unless you work with them every day.
Yeah,
I don't want to be on it anyway.
I say put a letter out and.
1 second. Want to read that?
I'll read it, because I think there's, this is the point I was trying to make. So if you look at section 1174 of the Borough Code, it says, organization of commission, general rule. The commission first shall be appointed and organized, blah, blah, blah. Membership. No commissioners shall at the same time hold an elective or appointed office under the federal government, this Commonwealth, or any political subdivision, except that one member of the commission may be a member of the council,
Right.
and one may be a member of the teaching profession. So that's for your full-time board members.
So now you have three, you still got to get somebody else.
And then for alternates, it says an alternate member, the incompatible office is that a council member cannot be an alternate.
Right.
So it says as a general rule, 2 of the members, one can be a council member, and one should be, it's a teaching's profession, and then the alternates cannot be on council.
Correct.
There's your guidelines.
But it doesn't say anything about you have to know what these different acts are to qualify for being, say, the third person on a
No, but
commission.
I think what, correct me if I'm wrong, I think what Mr. Greco is saying that he would like to see people who have that background that know what all of this is.
Well, when you
And I would
say,
like to see anybody that is willing to help the borough and spend the time as on a commission to volunteer for it and willing to learn what the different acts are.
I
so
would
they
say
know.
after what we've had in the past few years, if you get anyone
Right, that's what I'm
to
saying. I don't
look
want
at each person as your applicant.
Right.
I might be surprised if you get anyone to volunteer for anything.
do you want to stay on that board?
Huh?
Do you want to stay on that board?
No.
Okay, well, it says here, we're seeking candidates for opening on the to serve on the police civil service. Let's put a letter out, I mean, let's have them put their
I
letter
thought I was
out.
off of it.
Now, one of those
You
can
are
be,
not. No, you
correct me if I'm wrong, but
Okay.
The council can go over whoever's there and make a decision on who they feel is qualified.
Right.
I mean, what's the
Well,
problem?
that's what I'm asking.
yeah, do you want to be on it, Sonny?
Hey,
He said no.
No, that's what I'm
No.
asking. One of the things is someone from council can be on it, so do any of you want to be on it?
I just wanted to make sure, Mr. Lawson, you didn't resign from it because you felt you couldn't do it as a council member.
I just don't know.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah, so now that you guys know that one of you can be,
I mean, that's what
I
I
thought I
was
was off of
under the impression, he didn't want to be on
But
it.
I guess I am now, right?
does any council member want to be on the civil service board? As I said, it'd be nice if anyone could volunteer.
Okay, civil service test for officers. Jim Bryce come up to me and says that he'd like me to contact somebody to get the civil service test performed for the officers. It has been quite a few years since it's been done here, and he said it definitely needs to be done. He said they should be done every 2 years, I believe. So I'm going to work on getting the contact for a company to come in and do this.
Is that company in Pittsburgh that's been doing it?
I haven't contacted him to see what council thought.
Roseville or Pittsburgh.
In Roseville or Pittsburgh?
Either one of the two, that's the company that's been doing it.
So we're talking about the civil service test. Whenever Jimmy said that John Bednar told him we didn't need it.
That is correct.
And a few months ago, we talked about this and said we do need it.
We do need it. I looked up online, it is required, and I've noticed all the recent advertisements for other municipalities are looking for officers, they're all requiring it, so.
Yeah. So this is what we were talking about
3 weeks ago.
months ago.
Months ago, yeah, yes, so I'm
Okay.
going to get that taken care of.
Oh.
The next item is, I contacted all of the colleges locally that have police academies to try to get some interested recent graduates to get hired as part-time officers, and CalU responded, and I did a follow-up as well because I did not hear back from them, and they said that there was a graduating class in 20 and 21. He said January 2021 is their next graduating class. So he says
January,
January of 2021, he said is the next class at,
well, they're just starting the class in
right now,
January
yes. So he
2021.
said there's the other ones that just graduated all have already got job
Already got
places.
jobs.
Yes.
So
Yes.
they won't start a class until January.
They'll have a class now, they'll graduate January of
No,
2020.
I talked to them today.
Oh, you're right, I'm sorry, to begin January of 2021, that's what it says there, I'm sorry, you're correct.
May
don't
I
have
ask,
a
who
class
did
that's
you
finishing
talk
up.
to?
Hummel.
And he said they have a class now?
No, they're not gonna have a class starting until January 2021.
Did he also tell you?
But
that-
something to think about is, they also have, where you could sponsor a candidate. Basically what it is, you pay for his education and make a contract with him that he will serve the Borough of Donora and pay that back.
Do you have any idea what that would be?
$6,000.
How much?
$6,000 for the class.
$6,000.
For the class.
That's all the money. That's
Oh,
all the money.
I know, I'm just bringing this up as a.
So how would they work it off?
So they would work it off, after they graduate, they would sign a contract saying they'll work in Donora for such and such a time and pay such and such money monthly, bi-weekly, whatever. I mean, it's just something that he told me about, just to think about. But they're not gonna have anybody available until July of 2021.
I believe, did you look this up, Art?
I talked to him extensively. I went to CalU, and I even talked to the doctor that I asked Terry to write a letter to. Yes, there's a sponsorship that costs $6,000 to go to an Act 120 class. However, in the last 2 years, they haven't had a class because nobody can pass the physical. The physical is sort of rigid, and that if you want to pick a prime candidate here within the borough and sponsor him, or pick someone else like other communities have done, and they will not conduct a class under 15. And usually they get 50 applicants, and they end up with only 8 to pass the physical, so they will not hold the class. It's not feasible for them to hold a class. But yes, you can sponsor a person. It costs $6,000 for his tuition for the Act 120, and then you sign a contract, whether he's willing to sign a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, that's between the borough and that individual. But yes, it only costs $6,000 to sponsor him, and it's a very rigid physical that very seldom do they pass it.
It's sort of like an indentured service. If they work for you, they pay you off.
How long would it take to pay off the $6,000? How are the other communities doing it?
Well, like I said, your contract, you can make it anywhere from a monthly stipend coming back, garnishing his wages. It could be bi-weekly, anywhere, any way that you want to,
Spread it out.
yeah.
But we would have to give him a full-time job?
No,
But see, that's the question, now, is it full-time or is it part-time?
he'd be a part-time employee starting out. Now, it would be a candidate that if he did become what you thought would be, full-time material.
What's our report?
Okay, I brought
if he
that up,
doesn't do it?
I brought that up, I said,
What if he doesn't make it?
huh?
What if he doesn't make it?
What question did you bring that up?
Okay, what if he don't make it, or what if he gets to work here and then he comes to work with us and he's like, oh, I owe them $6,000, but I'm gonna get a $25 an hour job over here, I'll pay you back the $6,000.
Well,
Goodbye.
but see, now, your contract, if he moves to a full-time job someplace else, he still has to pay you.
Well, I'm just saying,
That money.
he would have used
Oh,
our
there's a lot of
money.
variables there. I
That's
don't-
what I'm saying. How could you
Mr.
do it?
Solicitor, I just want to ask, you guys bring up the best points in the world. Could you hold him accountable? And how feasible is it that they will pay you back?
I think we'd have to, if we had that circumstance where a candidate who became a part-time officer, they went to work somewhere else, said they'd pay us back, and didn't, we'd have to chase that person to wherever they would go.
Okay.
We'd give a judgment.
My hope is the graduating class of July 2021, somebody comes down here and wants to be a part-time officer in Donora. I just brought this up as something to think about. You know, I'm not bannering on doing such a thing. I just wanted to give you another way you could do it. Is
It's
it
a
going
good
to?
point. It's a very, very good point.
Might be a great thing too, if we send one of our police officers or superintendent up to the school to talk to some of them.
Well, there's nobody to talk to right now.
Well, I meant whenever this
They
all
all
starts.
got jobs. Yeah, but in the future, that would be, and Mr. Hummel said he'd be more than happy to come anytime for him to explain all the parameters to that sponsoring program and everything else that they do up there.
And he's the only one you can talk to because he's the only one that instructs at 120.
I wonder if he has any affiliations with local police departments that he uses.
He's
here.
a police officer
Yeah,
himself in
yes.
Charleston, and that's,
That's, I mean, does he take these students there as like a,
Well, he actually worked in it, Hummel.
you know what I mean, like
Yeah,
show
show
on,
it
hands
all
on,
in
or
the
whatever?
He said he worked here too.
Not that I know.
I don't know that for sure.
He's approximately 62, 63 years of age. He's a professor at Cal U, and he also
Yeah.
works part-time in Menneson and Charleroi.
I don't know if they have like a hands-on thing where they go to different police departments, but if Donora can maybe be one of those hands-on places, it's a way for them to talk to our officers, see our facilities, see how well equipped we are, maybe we're more likely to get you an officer.
you know, Mayor, you make a good point. Both councilmen, and I know Dr. Hummel very well. I taught at Cal for 6 years when he was dean there. Might be worthwhile to talk to him because I know criminal justice programs sometimes have graduates or students that leave that who are interested in going to the municipal police academy. Cal U keeps demographics, they know where their students live. There might be some local students, maybe even from our community that we don't know about, who want to go into law enforcement that may already be enrolled at Cal, that we could bridge together. I mean, say, I know 6,000 is a big investment, but if you're able to get an able-bodied police officer from the community who can serve for years, and the money's repaid, that's a
Keep
nice
in mind, you
return on
don't give him the
investment.
6,000 until you sign the contract.
That's right. No, I know you don't just, it's not like a donation out front. So it might be worthwhile to talk to
He may
him.
be correct, but I'm under the impression that after he completes his 120, you can utilize him as a full-time officer. I wasn't told strictly part-time, I was told, yes, you can hire him as a full-time.
Oh, yeah, you can do that. I don't think we're in shape to be able to hire somebody right out of the academy for a full-time job, but yeah, you can do whatever you want to. Whatever you want to. That was just a thought.
Then maybe just reach out and see if it's worked in other communities, what kind of track record they have. If it's ever happened before, did they fill out their, did they do what they said they were gonna do? Were they able to track down their contracts? Did it work out or not?
You still under public safety?
That was the last of it.
I'd like to bring up once again about, I know we talked about having a policy manual here, which we don't have. The solicitor and I, Mr. McDowell, reached out to Carl Bailey because at one time the law used to have a good one. It was approved by both the Borough Council and the union. And I thought maybe Carl might have one on file. We were told that it is not. He was going to forward us a copy of the Keysport City manual. And I was wondering, first of all, did he ever forward it to us? I'd like to have permission to call him and get a copy of it, if I may, or maybe Mr. McDowell can call it.
Well, that's Mr. About.
Okay. Could you reach out to him and get a copy of the manual? I would think-
You have contact
Yes, I
information.
have his email, I have his
I
phone.
would think it would be behooving to the borough to have some type of a policy in hand, because right now we have no pursuit of a fleeing vehicle, no pursuit during the residential area, no use of force, nothing. We have absolutely nothing. And it also includes giving the police a great latitude of discretion. However, if they step beyond that discretion, it relieves the borough from any liability. We don't want to turn in, I don't want to keep repeating myself, but we don't want to turn into an Eastern Key split. We better have a policy manual intact before something drastically happens here. That's just my opinion.
I have included on PSAB, most of you might have already gotten the email, they're having a webinar regarding what we're dealing with in the world right now, and I had enclosed a copy of it, and the mayor actually brought it to my attention as well, because he received the email, and I talked to Jim Bryce about it, and I can register, and anybody is willing, really were able to watch it and see what they have to discuss.
I'll come in.
It's a webinar.
Next Wednesday.
Yeah, I have to register for it,
Okay.
the PSAB, I think it's an hour and a half long, I
Yeah,
think.
12 to 1:30.
12 to 1:30, so
Mhm.
if that's enclosed in your packet, so I can register for it. It's a $30 fee, I believe. So,
A
and then
one-time fee or for each individual $30?
I have to check into it, it might be one, I'm not sure, I have to check. I have to see, it's being that it's a webinar, I'm not sure. So that, or if you guys want to come down to the office and, we can put it on the screen in the
If I
hall.
remember right, it's next
We could
Wednesday,
do it
isn't
like
it?
the way we did it for the finance thing.
In my office.
In your office, and then just 2 or 3 of us could be there, considered one. They don't know who's.
Right, so we can even do it back in the hall too, with the
Yeah.
whiteboard, and the chief Bryce wants to come up, or whoever's working daylight.
And
And then,
can we all be there without it being in violation of the sunshine?
It's a class.
it's a class, so it's education,
class,
yeah, as long as we don't
because
discuss
we're
through.
there as a
It's a class.
Yeah. Yep, so I'll register for that tomorrow. And that's all I have, and I think Ed Kirk had.
Do you have all the notes?
Yes, did I turn in your?
No, I didn't get them.
Yeah, they're there, in the very back. Are they there?
No, they're not.
Here, I'm sorry. I missed you.
Can I send my text message, see if you can join us?
What's that? Here, Ed, I'll give you these ones. Sorry, I don't know how I missed you. I have it. Yeah, I have an extra folder. I don't know.
The condition our trucks are getting in. And these are some of the better ones, actually. Okay, we have printouts here of some of our borough dump trucks, some of our vehicles. We see the corrosion from years of just basic use, taking care of the streets, plowing the snow, dumping the salt. They can't last forever. If we don't, we have to address this sooner rather than later. The longer we put it off, the worse it's going to be. And what we don't want to have happen is in the wintertime, we're down a truck, we're down 2 trucks, and we're not able to keep the roads passable.
This truck, this picture you have with the floorboard completely gone, is that in use?
Yes.
Should we be using this at all? Does this not put our employees in harm's way?
It does.
We should be using this truck.
We should.
I don't think we have a choice.
We don't have any for
We don't have another vehicle to use.
Whenever it comes to safety, there's not like a choice.
I realize that. I'm saying,
What I'm
you're
saying is
saying
this-
we got to use it, but we don't have another one
I
to
hear,
use.
I hear you, but if one of our, now that we've been aware of this, like this is the first time I'm saying this, but now that, correct me if I'm wrong, once we're aware of this, if someone gets hurt because of this, we're in big trouble.
I'm not even sure you can maintain insurance on that.
If we can't keep the roads plowed, there's ice, somebody gets hurt, it's gonna fall back on our heads.
Right, that's what I'm saying, we need to address this now.
Or one of them works, yeah, one of our own crews gets hurt.
Right.
It would be like somebody could put their foot right through the floorboard.
Yep. Breakdowns
We
left
get a
and
price
right,
for
having,
a dump truck.
we had a fuel line replaced last month, that was about
What about-
500.
What about fixing this? I mean, addressing the immediate problems, can we get a price on any of those?
This is the first time we've brought it up. Ed just
Looks
talked
like
to
it's
Mike.
old. What year is that truck?
What year is that in? He's gonna call Mike to come over. He said he'd have him on standby. It's a 550.
It's got different fenders
Can't
on it?
keep patching and patching and patching.
Yeah, the bed alone has plywood in it right now, because it's all rotted out.
That says that's 350.
That's,
This is a different truck.
No, you're right, I'm sorry,
Right.
it's 550. The new one's a 550, excuse me. Yeah, the new one that we got pricing on is a
I'll be
550.
right back.
Yeah,
If I understand it right, did we not price the truck like in January?
yeah,
Yes,
85,000, that's what Mike just said.
yes.
So we don't have it.
Yeah, I mean, do we get a price on fixing this? Just making it safe, number one.
Do we ever price a second-hand one?
That's not the only part that's rusted on the truck.
Well, but this is,
All right, Terry tells me that she checked into doing a lease payment on this along with the street sweeper. And I think, from what I can see in the budget, we can swing the lease payment on it if every council is agreeable. My opinion, we can figure it out. So I'm all for getting them a new truck because
They
we
need
can't
one,
keep,
because
like you
it's-
said, we can't keep repairing something that's falling apart.
The bed's shot.
Right.
They've
Bed
already
shot,
repaired it.
door shot.
I'm all for getting new equipment. I mean, that's why we
I
said.
mean, if you look at this bed, they put a piece of plate in it.
This is what I was trying to
And
say at the last meeting. We're worrying about things like a siren for the town when I realize that it's nowhere near the price of a dump truck, but we need a dump truck before we need a siren. We need so many other things before we need these little things, like the plexiglass at the police station. We needed the plexiglass upstairs, I agree. I didn't think we needed it in the police station, so we didn't get it. But we need to start worrying about these emergencies that are coming up. There was something else you told me today, that there was an emergency that, the air conditioning
Yeah, we had a
unit. The air
maintenance
conditioning
today.
unit is bad in the police station. All right, that's gonna cost us money. We need to worry about things like that rather than these little things that are not really that important right
Right.
now.
Right.
Did we ever price maybe a used vehicle from one of these other municipalities?
I don't think you're
Something
getting
to
into
carry
their
us
problems.
through the
They're
year.
in the same situation as what these,
Right.
the conditions
They're
are. We
getting rid
looked
of
at the
them.
bidders, or I'm sorry, municipal bid,
Yeah.
we looked on there. We tried, our pricing we get is statement with the co-stars. We get a better interest rate. The interest rate was 3%, I think it was, on this lease. And she did an option of a 5-year lease, and I believe it's either a 7 or 8-year lease. I sent Ed Parquette all the figures, and I'm not real sure, it's around $1,000 a month for the lease. So,
1,000%?
$1,000 a month, yeah.
Now, is
How
that,
many years?
8 years, 7 or 8 years, I'm not real sure. I know I sent the paperwork to Ed, but I don't have it in front of me right now.
if, is there?
You're gonna get a better deal on a lease than you are on a used.
Right. And at the end of the time, you turn it in for another vehicle,
Exactly.
a vehicle that is still in good shape. So if we do something like that, and instead of these little nickel dime things that we're talking about doing, maybe we can do it.
How
So
soon
some
do
of the
we need
used
this?
ones are like 40 to 50, depending on what it was.
Soon.
Yeah, without it being too beat up.
If the lease stuff works, that's great. Did we look at
Bad.
every different manufacturer, all the different
Seats
leases?
even.
We're in the co-stars program, so we're limited on who we go through, so we're very restricted on
That's
that,
only the
So like, who can we go to?
the pricing. Yeah.
Who can you go to?
Well, you can go, we went check with, Mike has like specs on it, I have all the figures upstairs, I didn't bring everything down here today, but I didn't expect it to
This
go.
$85,000 truck that you're referring to, where's it coming from?
It's C. Harper gave us the quote, it's a
Is it a
Ford.
Chevy, a Ford?
It's a Ford F-550.
And how soon can we get it if we decide we're gonna do it?
Go ahead, Mike.
Not sure. With everything that's going on, who knows? At the last time we talked about this, it was 4 to 6 months to build it.
I'm sorry?
4 to 6 months to build it.
And the lease is gonna be $1,000 a month?
I'm not
Oh,
sure. The
Yeah,
figures
is that the
changed.
email I sent you with the extended?
Yeah.
Remember I
Can they get
gave
it
you the
somewhere else?
second?
Can they
We
find
don't
one?
have any in stock?
Maybe, yeah, I mean, we just have to say, yeah. You know,
Like, did you look
They
at
could go
different
online.
manufacturers or just Ford?
Yes, the truck that we're looking at,
Monthly payment,
that particular
1,600.
that 19,500 GVW, you're limited. You can go to all 3 manufacturers, but the Chevrolet's is a bigger body truck, which is too big for small roads in our town.
15 a year.
So we're stuck between the Ford and the Dodge at this point. So it was just a fact finding last time we were looking. So I just had a quick spec drawn up.
And how did the Dodge and Ford, they pretty much the same, or do you like the Fords better, or what?
I didn't get into, I called one Dodge dealership, they weren't a CoStar dealer, so right there I just stopped because we were just looking for pricing at that point. To sit down and compare apples to oranges, we didn't do that yet.
Do you think it'd be best to do that before we pull the trigger?
Well, yeah, we can do that. I mean, the thing is the okay to proceed, you know, we never get the okay to proceed. You know, and it's becoming a dire need at this point.
So as I understand this, Mrs. Petrosky, Terry, you're talking $1,600 a month,
Is that
$19,200 a year. And you say we can afford that?
capital outlay? Is that what
Pardon?
we're going out of?
Capital outlays up to
Capital
25.
Now that you're here right now,
So
Mike,
we can't afford it.
Mike, now that you're here, we just received pictures of like the floorboards completely missing in a vehicle. How much to repair that right now to make it safe?
We've done it in the past. We have a floor pan actually for that truck. But what's happening after we do this is beyond that rust, the repair that we put in, it starts rotting. So, but we have the floor pan here already. I have to repair it.
I'd have to ask council right now to okay him to repair that, make it safe immediately.
Oh, we are, yeah, that's already, they'll probably be done tomorrow, honestly.
That's what I kind of thought you said that.
Yeah, because we have the
Right.
choice.
Right.
We have the
Choice.
trucks. I mean,
Right.
we have the choice, but.
And how long does the repair last when you do something?
It depends, because you have to understand, right in that area where you see that, that's where their boots sit with salt on them and everything else.
Maybe a year, maybe less, maybe more.
Yeah, who knows? Because now you're talking about subframes under dump bodies and frames of trucks. They're just beyond their repair, that their livelihood.
I think that's agreed. I just want to make sure they're safe right now.
Old boy down there.
Yeah, that's because the water lays there, salt on their boots, in and out. I mean, that's what the trucks do. That's what the nature of their
And
beats.
that mat, that's not carpet, that's a rubber mat.
That's a rubber mat. And some we have repaired. Well, all the trucks have the floorboards repaired, every single one, because it's just the same scenario you play out through all of them. But now you're starting, like I said, you're getting into subframes on dump bodies, and the dump bodies are shot. There's nothing to weld to.
So what's the plan if the council agrees to go with the lease program? What trucks will you keep? Which ones do you plan on getting rid of? What do you think?
That's what we would have to start with. You know, what we can get and what we're gonna have to retire, get rid of. Because there's another big one we have to get rid of because it's unuseful to us.
So you're looking for council to approve you to start doing this planning?
To proceed.
If we gave you permission to start this planning, which would be the most important truck that we have that you need to replace?
One of these one-tons?
So they're like all-purpose.
Yeah, because they can go on the smaller streets, and if you have to, you can attack the bigger streets. If you have to. But we can't take a bigger truck and put it on a small street. We need smaller plows because it's so narrow. So we can take a small truck, put it on a big road, but we can't put a big truck on a small.
I got you.
So in other words, right now, we need to give you permission to go ahead and get the prices on it and get back to council with the prices, correct?
Yes.
And you say it could be done then financially.
Financially, I think we could.
Yeah, the capital outlay on his line item, there is funding in there for
Yeah.
that.
Well, there's sometimes.
I see it as a no-brainer. You need it, it's a no-brainer.
I don't think
Can't
we
work
have a
like
choice.
this with this.
We've been talking about it for
You can't
months,
work with
doing it.
this.
No, but I think you should have to fix it though in the meantime.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
definitely.
we have to use the truck, so.
Well, yeah.
I have
I mean,
the
you
part
can't-
already to fix it.
Yeah,
Yeah, the part had already come in.
you can
Council-
use it until you get something.
Yeah.
You've been
You gotta
talking about
fix
doing
that.
this for years. I think it's time to do it.
Yeah. I mean, it's just in the normal rotation of replacement. You know,
We've been talking about it for years. You've been Frankenstein and stuff, and if you have it there, it's time to do it. I think you have to. But I want them safe now for the guys.
No, it's not, it's sitting in the garage, outside the window.
Like, other question I do before we all go, the park rentals, we're getting some cancellations, we've been refunding everybody, but for the rentals that we have, are we going to open up the bathrooms just when there's a rental and so they can be cleaned properly? Or are we just gonna do more porta-johns? I have one porta-john up there now, but I'm gonna be calling to get the other ones like we have in the past.
I actually thought about what you're gonna, next thing to reopen in the park, and I got a question out there today. They said they'd get back to me because a lot of municipalities are asking just what you're saying. Should we go with porta-johns, then it puts the liability on someone else, or should we have our restrooms open? And as of right now, they're all saying the same things. All the high hands-on things like playground equipment and restrooms is so far up in the air, you're almost taking on a risk for them to answer me. So that's why with the proclamation, what I opened up was due to that. All the high-touch areas were kind of like, hey, it's best not to mess with that right now. And the restrooms especially, it's best not to do that right now because there's just not enough information out there for us to keep liability away from the borough. And I discussed it with the solicitor too, right after I made the phone calls, and that's where we came up with the only sport that truly they said, if you can maintain 6-foot distance is tennis.
But
I know, then they went back, yeah, we'll let that go. But the thing is that's why we opened up the way we did, and it's still kind of hesitating there. Because right now, I still can't get a true answer if we would be, how can I put this, reliable? Or,
yeah, I mean, that's the thing, I think if we were to open that type of facility that has the high-touch contact areas, we almost have to ensure that they're going to be clean.
constantly. And that's while they're using it.
The only bathrooms we used to keep open all the time was Lyron. The other ones were only during pavilion rentals, which were cleaned every morning after the rental.
But the thing is right now with the COVID restrictions, for us to open them, correct me if I'm wrong, it would almost like we would have to have a hands-on person there during their times of rental to assure it's being cleaned proficiently between uses. Correct? Correct.
So who's gonna be up there to clean the porta-johns?
Well, that's why I didn't open them yet.
So the
That's why
porta-johns are different
Right.
situation.
Well, isn't there some CDC guidelines concerning that, if not daily,
Yes.
half the day?
Yes.
And then you make the people responsible for it that are at the rentals.
You would have to rewrite the contract that we have for the pavilions in itself right now.
Put them on notice, probably make wipes available, disinfectant wipes.
We would still have to, there's still a cost involved with it, and that's why I said right now, with the way everything else is being reopened, so I've been looking at every day and calling and kind of saying, where are we at with it? When is a good time? When does, these restrictions are gonna start stepping down, they said that. But to what degree that the borough can be less responsible for it, and we can now put it in the contract that they are more responsible for how they handle it. That's kind of where I was at with it.
I mean, we posted the last, when we opened up with your last proclamation, I mean, you're at your own risk. You know, I followed with the governor's orders, so that way it doesn't make us liable if we would come in contact with the virus.
Yeah, I can't stress this enough right now. And I'm glad this has kind of come up. Every day I call or check the website or send an email to somebody or call the solicitor or a different lawyer to discuss just these things. These are not my rules. This is what the CDC and basically the government set down to us as employers and as representatives of the community that you must do. So whenever it's, how are we going to transport 2 men in a truck? We have to make that call. And they said, this is how you do it. It's not my rule. It's what we do as employers to protect you. If we want to rent pavilions and open up bathrooms, they say, these are your rules. Which then, of course, it's me saying we're not going to open it because of this. It's not my rule. It's what we have to do. So that's kind of where we're at. Like I said, the solicitor, I talk to him every other day about this very subject. Just bring it up like, hey, have you heard anything more?
In the guidance that comes out, I've found for the green phase to be less clear than what we had for the red and yellow phase.
Yes.
And that's part of the problem. The information comes out slowly, they change positions. I mean, it just seems that it's very murky right now.
Hoping tomorrow, since we're gonna be in the green phase, there'll be an update from.
Yes, I expected it today to.
I looked before,
I did too.
I kept checking to see, but.
I also think that once we get into green after a week or two, as long as the numbers don't go crazy, we keep saying this, but it's gonna be a tumble effect. It's gonna immediately just tumble right into the next thing. But I just feel that right now, I don't think I'm gonna move any further on the proclamation with the state of emergency and where the park is. And that's under discretion with, I talk to the solicitor constantly about it. And when to open the park, high touch areas, and its bathroom facilities, it will be a constant every day. I'll just keep checking and telling you guys exactly where I'm standing. Just like last time, you'll get the email saying, I'm thinking about moving this forward. I'll talk to you guys and say, we'll do it. But right now, I don't feel comfortable with it. And I'm kind of just going by the guidelines and make sure we keep the borough out of harm's way, and our employees. So please, you tell your employees, half this stuff that you think I'm jamming down your throat, we're an employer, OSHA.
These are OSHA reported.
We just had a big talk about OSHA reportable incidents concerning this, which means now we're your employer as the borough. So these guidelines, you must do. You must. Just like I had to wear a harness, if it says we have to tell you to wear a mask, you must wear a mask. It's not my rule. It's the rule of the land.
There's a little controversy with the mask though, because if somebody has asthma or something, we're not allowed to force them.
Now, I asked that too, and that's what I want to bring up to Steve. I know in OSHA, I taught OSHA for a long time, and I can't tell someone to wear a respirator or anything.
Those require certification.
Those require certification. But these, which are not,
That's just a mouth, or a guard.
it's just a guard,
Facial cover.
that we can't. It's anything with an underlying condition that would restrict airflow or cause any pulmonary effects. We cannot do without giving you a breathing test and, or what's it
And
called,
fit-
respiratory,
a fit test.
a fit test with how it fits. Whenever it's just for dust and particles under a certain micron, we can ask you. Now, that's under OSHA guidelines.
That's correct.
So we had this conversation before about the mask, and I know a lot of things, people were saying this and that, but it's the same thing like, hey, we've all had jobs where your employer has put, different things upon you. We're trying to stay within that, and I know it's a pain. I don't like wearing it either, but really by example, and it's not my rules. What we have to do as employers, and I guarantee you, if I said, no, we're not going to do that here, we'll do it differently, I'm not protecting you to the fullest the law tells me to. That's OSHA's basic standard. So I'll just keep watching it every day. I'll keep you posted like I have been. Every time I talk to Terry, I tell her I talked to, last time, who was it? The PA Department of Health. And I brought up whenever I talked to Mike, and he said, I don't know what to tell you. I told the guys, but we don't have enough trucks. There's going to be constant problems. A few phone calls, and I told them what was going on. They said, okay, this is how you deal with it. They said, you're not going to find a whole lot of guidelines, but this is how we're handling it. And that's just what I did. And I gave it to Terry. She posted it, and that's what we'll keep up with. I'll put everything in writing, where I got it from, who it is, day to day to day. We're entering green tomorrow. There's probably going to be a lot of phone calls this week. Well, I'd say next week now. Starting Monday, it'll be, okay, we're in green. Do they have to wear the mask constantly? As they said, once you make it to your work site, it's at the discretion of the employer.
And Steve, since we have the contracts with the restrooms noted in there, and they're already signed and things, rentals, are we required to do any changes since it is going on?
What I think we'd be able to do is just advise them that they have to follow through the
Put some
guidelines.
spray up there, put some Clorox wipes in there, and call it a day. I
Sanitize.
mean,
So
you have that good spray.
We have everything.
Yes.
We
So
have
we
the
say we
concentrate.
are going to open them now?
And you can tell them.
What's that?
I know I'm saying already in the contract now, the bathroom facilities are listed, and we have to be kind of following, that's what I said, the people that already signed the contract is what I'm worried. I don't want them coming back and saying,
And they're gonna have to follow the CDC's guidelines outright, because we still are gonna have a limitation on number of people and all those other things.
Yeah.
So the porta-johns can stay there, but opening our facilities might be, this is the question we're at now.
Or you get the park rented on a weekend.
Yes.
9 times out of 10, it's a weekend, which means calling somebody out for special assignment to clean the restrooms on the weekend, which is overtime, which is gonna, something that we're gonna be able to have to turn into, the.
For the reimbursement.
And we're gonna have to
to
track
get
those
reimbursed.
I do,
Right.
I have everything documented, yes.
So if we do, the same thing would be with the porta pots. We're still gonna have to turn that in. We have to
Yes.
get red,
I'm gonna have to get more. if
additional
this is
ones.
something we have to supply them with
Right.
bathroom
Is
facilities.
this weekend coming up
No, everything's been canceled. Next one is until next Saturday.
next Saturday?
So
How about
hopefully
I
we'll
make
get
a
an
few-
update tomorrow.
Like I said, I do phone calls constantly. Let me start with phone calls tomorrow when we're in green. I'll follow up on Monday. And if it looks like whichever way we should best proceed, I'll let you know Monday, Tuesday, and we'll follow through with parking, either opening of facilities or we're gonna go with porta-johns, whichever is best. Council can, we'll do it in the emergency free. Is that the right way to do this, solicitor?
Yes, yep, absolutely.
Terry,
Yes.
are you gonna find out how, when the council meeting next week,
Yes.
about how many people can be?
Like 250, or
250.
250 or less.
but that's
Well,
not
we-
to say who can't be in the hallway or who can't be outside.
Well, we
And
can
you
have
have
it,
to remain social distancing.
we can have it upstairs too.
That is correct, is an option, yes, because I spaced the chairs out here today.
If we want to make sure we have accommodations for everyone that's coming, you have it upstairs, and then you can have 6 foot between as many people as you want and still get to 250, correct? Why don't council just say now that you're going to hold it upstairs, and you maintain your 6 foot, that way everyone knows that you're welcome to come. If that's council's wishes.
That'd be that. And everybody know by now.
I can advertise, I'll put
What
it
if
in.
you open
I think
up
it's a great
the
idea.
upstairs
Just
and
go
you
ahead
only
and
get
schedule it
75
for
people,
upstairs.
then what you do, you holler at everybody?
Well, I'm just saying, if that's what council wants, whatever you guys want to do.
Should have a PA system intact too if you run upstairs.
You going upstairs?
Well, I would say wait
Wait till the
at,
last minute.
well, you could have both places. It doesn't take that long.
Well, Mike has to have the seat, he'll have chairs
Yeah,
set
you
up.
could have them set up.
Yes.
If we see that we're gonna get too many people, we'll move it upstairs. If we don't have a lot of people, we'll have it downstairs. There's no need in having it upstairs if you only have 30 people.
It's up to you. I'm just saying, if you want to make sure.
You know, but we could have both facilities. If we see that we're gonna get a lot of people, the meeting will be upstairs. That's according to where we're at, where the meeting's gonna be. So if we see there's gonna be a lot of people, we'll have it down here. I mean, a lot of people will have it upstairs. It's not, you might not hardly have anybody come out for whatever reason, you know, when we're going in the green. You might want to do other things and come to a meeting.
One would hope.
You know what I mean? They haven't done anything in a few months. They'll come sit down there in the meeting, might not be at the top of their priority list. So we'll play it by ear.
We'll schedule for down here for next week, or advertise for down here, and then
And watch for Monday or Tuesday, I'll be in touch with you guys and President. and
I'll check
Terry.
tomorrow, because you might have an update tomorrow,
Yeah,
since we're
we'll
going
get
green
some more
tomorrow.
updates, and then we'll follow through with what's best to do at the park for next week's rentals.
Okay. So everybody give me their signed papers, please.